Welcome back to another episode of Physio Tips with Marrow. I'm your host, Marrow Burnett. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a board certified specialist in orthopedic physical therapy and the owner of Australian Physiotherapy Specialists. Okay, for today's video, we're going to get into treatment that you can do at home to help with a severe episode of low back pain. Maybe Christmas is over, you're picking up all the boxes and totes, putting away the decorations, you've severely strained your back, a lot of pain, possibly pain down the legs, hard to get out of bed, hard to bend forward. We're going to go into that. We're going to give you some tips that you can do at home to help and hopefully get you back on track to recovery. All right, stay tuned everyone, and let's get into the video. All right, let me move this heavy box so I can do this video. Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, pretty sore. All right, guys, we've been there before, right? Maybe a lot of us have. You bend over, you lifted something up, pretty sore immediately, right afterwards. You might even be stuck in this position to where you bend forward and it's very hard to straighten up. Okay, if that's you, you're stuck in this position, maybe you even had to go into bed rest for a day or so. We're gonna give you a couple exercises to try to help get some of this back pain out and get you back to functioning, okay? We're gonna get into the first exercise. We're gonna call it exercise number 1 that you can do, and we're gonna use this as a first aid exercise if that happened to you. Let's get into exercise number 1 and we'll take a look. All right, let's look at exercise number 1. Exercise number 1 is gonna be simply rolling onto your stomach and lying there for a minute or 2, maybe even 3 minutes. The goal is to relax my lower back, let my stomach sink into the table, and what I shouldn't feel is increased leg pain while I'm doing this. The goal is to help your back feel better. If you are having leg symptoms, it should be to lessen the leg symptoms. We call that centralization. If you have pain going all the way to the bottom of your legs, we want that pain to start to migrate up your legs until it ends up in just a stiffness in the lower back. Well, that's much more tolerable. So I'm lying here, I give it a minute or 2. That's going to be exercise number 1. Now I'm going to switch into exercise number 2. Exercise number 2, I'm going to prop on my elbows. Same thing, relax my stomach down. I'm going to hang in this position for 1 or 2 minutes, let it relax. I'm looking to see a decrease in my leg symptoms or a decrease in my back pain. It might be uncomfortable. At first, you may even have to put a pillow underneath to make it tolerable. Another thing you could do if it's too uncomfortable is just don't go as high. Maybe do a little bit. But if you can tolerate it, this can be very helpful. Now, a minute or 2 goes by. I finished exercise number 1. I finished exercise number 2. Now let's look at exercise number 3. Exercise number 3, I put my hands here. I'm gonna do a half push-up, just touch my pain, and then I come back down. Try it again. And we'll go through this exercise number 3 10 times. You might find that as you do this, you can only go a little bit at first, but as you continue to do it, the pain starts to subside and you can go a little bit higher. If you had a partner, your partner could hold your hips down while you're doing this, and that sometimes can be the difference of how successful or unsuccessful exercise number 3 is. Okay. We finished exercise number 1, we finished exercise 2 and 3. Now we carefully get you back up. And then once we get you back up, we're gonna talk about what next. All right. Okay, we've completed exercises 1 through 3. Hopefully by this point, your leg pain feels a little bit better. You can stand or sit up a little bit better with better posture. Now you've got that natural curve back in your lower back. We call that the lordosis. You want to maintain that lordosis over the next several days. If you're sitting at your office, put a small pillow, or there's several things you can buy online, but even something like a throw pillow can be great to put in the back while you're sitting at your chair. Maybe you're working from home due to COVID, slide it in the back of your chair at your workstation, or maybe if you're at an office, some kind of lumbar roll can be very helpful. The same thing can be used for your car. Maybe you have to travel a lot. Lumbar roll can be very helpful. Now that you've got a little bit of curve back, remember before you were bent forward and you couldn't even attain a curve or even upright. Now we want to keep that curve now that you've achieved it. We want to be careful not to sit in one place too long. I would advise getting up at least every 30 minutes and moving around. A body in motion tends to not get as stiff. If you can tolerate it, getting up and walking for a few minutes every 30 minutes will greatly help. Bed rest is not advised unless you absolutely have to, and if you do have to do bed rest, really try to limit it to 1 day, 2 days max. What happens when you're lying down in bed is you're not challenging your spinal muscles start to get weaker, and after a while your joints start to get really stiff, and so long-term bed rest, definitely not the way to go. You're going to look at weaker bones, weaker spine muscles. It's going to lead to some problems. So if you can get up and move around, that's going to be the way to go. Watch your posture, watch how you're sitting. Be careful with bending over activities for a few days. Try to keep your posture up. That's going to be a big help. If a few weeks go by, you start to feel better, then we can start to look at maybe getting into some more exercise for flexibility. But for right now, the goal is decrease your pain, improve your ability to stand upright. So your exercises 1 through 3 that we did, you could start doing this every couple hours during your first few days of having pain. If you don't have a place where you can do exercise number 3, the one where we did the push-up, in the standing position, you could hold your hips and gently lean back and do a standing extension exercise. So that also could be employed. Another scenario is if you tried exercise 1 through 3 and it just didn't give you any relief, and you've done it for a couple days and you're like, wow, this just isn't working for me. One of the things that you can do is while you're lying on your stomach, shift your hip away from the side of pain. So if my pain is on the right side, I'm going to kind of shift away to the left. And if my pain's on the left side, I'm going to shift away to the right. Once I'm in that shifted position while lying on my stomach, I'll do exercise number 1 in that slightly shifted position, exercise number 2, and exercise number 3. That's a good troubleshooting thing to try. Give it a try at home, see if it works. Leave me some comments, let me know what you think. Hope this video was helpful for a lot of people out here. Low back pain, 80% of Americans get it. It can be pretty debilitating. This exercise approach was designed by Robin McKenzie from New Zealand back in the 50s. It's been around forever. It's been researched. Try it. It's definitely used it effectively for so many people in the past. I hope it helps. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and if you want to subscribe to our channel, we're going to try to put out every month or so some good videos on the helpful physical therapy tips. Well, thanks for tuning into our video on helpful physiotherapy tips that you can do at home for acute, severe low back pain. I hope you got something out of it. Give it a try. If it's making your leg pain feel better, if it's making your back feel better, keep doing it. If anything you're doing is making you feel worse, of course, don't do it. Contact your doctor, contact your local physio, see what they can do to help you out. But it's been around for a long time. It's definitely worth giving it a go. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Physio Tips with Marrow.